I can't make it go live. Okay, we're live. Sorry, it kept asking me if I wanted to go live. Hey, it's Andrea Eichmann here with the People's Patriot Project. It is Memorial Day 2025, and Peterson and I are mobile today. We are in Blaine, and we are at Veteran Memorial Park, where Steve Geider has the ceremony. He was our guest last night. He's got the ceremony today.
General George S. Patton once said, "It's foolish and wrong to mourn the men who died. Rather, we should thank God such men live." Today, we thank God such men and women live. Good afternoon, and on behalf of myself, Dennis Angel, our official Veterans Memorial Park Color Guard from the Sergeant John Rice VFW, led by Navy Desert Storm, Desert Shield veteran Joel Frank, our official Honor Guard Final Salute Rifle Squad from the Krause Harding VFW, led by Navy Vietnam veteran and VFW Commander Bob Wiltz, and the driving force behind this beautiful Veterans Memorial Park, Mr. Steve Geiger. Our honored guests today are Brigadier General retired Tim Kennedy and his wife Sue, Major General retired David Hamler, Janet and Jerry Kaiser, founders of Honor Flight Twin Cities, and the family of Staff Sergeant Bobby Pruden. We thank you all for being here. Please rise and draw your attention to the west end of the park for the presentation of colors, followed by our national anthem. Leading our color guard with the flag of Army Staff Sergeant Bobby Pruden is Major Nathan Burr. Leading us in our national anthem will be Blaine High School junior Riley Hess. Ladies and gentlemen, our nation's colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets would clear the bombs bursting in air, give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the hope of the brave?
Thank you, Reverend. That was beautiful. Please now join me in our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Major Nathan Burr will now deliver our invocation. Almighty and eternal God, we gather in this sacred place, Veterans Memorial Park, to honor the legacy of courage, duty, and sacrifice. On this Memorial Day, we pause in solemn remembrance of men and women who gave their lives in service to this nation. They stood in the gap, shouldered the burden, and paid the ultimate price for the freedoms we cherish today. We thank you for these brave souls. We come before you with hearts full of gratitude and reverence. We are humbled by their sacrifice, inspired by their example, and committed to never forgetting the cost of our liberty. May their memory be a guiding light for generations to come. Lord, your word in Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. We believe those who gave their lives now soar with you. And we ask today for that same strength for those left behind. Families who mourn, comrades who remember, and citizens who honor. Renew our strength, Lord, that we might carry their legacy forward with purpose and honor. Bless all who are gathered here today. Veterans, families, citizens, and community leaders. Strengthen our unity. Deepen our gratitude and stir within us a renewed sense of purpose. Let us live lives worthy of their sacrifice. Lives of service, compassion, and unwavering commitment to justice and peace. May your presence be with us now and always, and may this park continue to stand as a living testimony to the service, sacrifice, and enduring values our heroes fought to protect. A place that anchors us in hope and honors you. In your holy name we pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Today we pay special tribute to a group of men and women who are not with us. Those who are held as prisoners of war and those who remain missing in action. There are 81,112 U.S. service members still unaccounted for since World War II. We call them missing in action. We honor not only those unaccounted for, but also those who endured captivity as prisoners of war. Their absence is deeply felt, and their sacrifice never forgotten. This is why we set a special place of honor at every Memorial Day ceremony, the POW MIA table. You may have noticed the small table set for one. This table is set to honor our prisoners of war and those still missing in action. The table is small, symbolizing the frailty of one isolated prisoner. The tablecloth is white, representing the purity of their intentions in answering the nation's call to arms. A single red rose is displayed in a vase, a symbol of the blood they may have shed and our hope that they will return home. The yellow ribbon tied around the vase is a symbol of our continued determination to remember them and seek their return. A slice of lemon reminds us of the bitter fate of those captured and missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers. The glass is inverted, reminding us that they cannot share a toast with us today. The chair is empty because they are not here. This table, though simple, is rich with meaning. It represents an honor and unwavering resolve to never forget. To those who fell captive to our enemies, the silence left in your place echoes with the quiet, unheard valor of your suffering and your unremarkable faith. That your nation and your loved ones would be semper fidelis, always faithful. To those who are still missing, the men and women who went across the sea and never returned, we remain semper fidelis. Your stories are not forgotten. Your sacrifice is not lost in time. At this time, I ask you to join me in a moment of silence to honor the 81,112 service members who are still missing. Let this moment reflect our continued commitment to remember, to search, to never rest until they are all accounted for. Today, as we all share the common purpose of honoring not only those who died in service to our country, but also to those who were held captive and returned, as well as those who remain missing. Let this table be a symbol of that purpose. Let it remind us of the cost of freedom. Let it speak silently but powerfully that we are a nation that remembers, honors, and remains faithful until they all come home. Thank you. Every Memorial Day, Americans come together in communities, cities, and towns across America in support of their Gold Star families by placing flags and flowers on the grave sites of their loved ones. Today, we extend our warmest welcome to our Gold Star families. If we have a Gold Star family here today, would you please stand? We extend our heartfelt condolences for the sacrifice your families have made. Thank you. You may be seated. Each year we pay special tribute to honor and remember the service of a special veteran. This year's honoree will be the United States Army Airborne Ranger Staff Sergeant Robert J. Cruden, 75th AmeriCal Jeep Company, posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. At this time, John Lou will now play the Armed Services Medley. If you or one of your family members have served or is currently serving in the United States military, we ask that you all stand together when your military branch is announced. Once your military anthem has completed, please take your seat.
Established 14 June 1775, the United States Army. Thank you. Established 13 October 1775, the United States Navy. Thank you. Established 10 November 1775, the United States Marine Corps. Happy 250th birthday, Army, Navy, and Marines. Established 4 August 1915, the United States Coast Guard. Thank you. Established 18 September 1947, the United States Air Force. Thank you. Established 20 December 2019, the United States Space Force. Great job, John. That was a workout.
I'll go back up.
now my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker, Brigadier General retired Tim Kennedy. General Kennedy retired from the Minneapolis National Guard in March of 2007 after 37 years of service. He commanded at the company, battalion, and brigade, pardon me, good Lord, the brigade level. Other key assignments were the Secretary of the General Staff for the 47th Infantry Division, Secretary of the General Staff for the Minnesota State Area Command, and Chief of Mobilization and Readiness, Directorate of Plans, Operations, and Training, State Area Command. His last assignment prior to retiring in March 2007 was the Assistant Adjutant General for the Army Minnesota National Guard Joint Force Headquarters. As the Assistant Adjutant General, he was a Chief Advisor to the Adjutant General on matters pertaining to Army National Guard operations, training, and readiness. As a traditional guardsman, his civilian occupation included 7 years in the Minneapolis schools as a teacher and a coach, 22 years with Honeywell, Inc. as a trainer, training manager, director, and branch manager, and then 15 years with Winsoft, Inc. as an executive vice president for software development. In his retirement, he focuses on volunteering and military-related organizations. He is the executive director of the Minnesota Military Family Foundation, secretary to the board of Magnus Veterans Foundation, president of the Minnesota chapter of the Military Officers Association of America, and president of the Minnesota National Guard Retired Officers. He is a member and past president of the Airport Lions Club. His affiliations include Magnus Veterans Foundation, the American Legion, the Association of the United States Army and Military Officers Association of America, the National Guard Association of Minnesota, and the National Guard Association of the United States. General Kennedy and his wife live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They have 2 grown children, Kelly, residing in Edina, son Robert resides in Wayzata. They have 4 grandchildren, Caitlin, Jack, Madeline, and Ava. I am honored to call General Kennedy and Sue my friends. Please welcome Brigadier General Tim Kennedy. My dad wouldn't believe what he heard, and my mom would be so proud. Anyway, standing in the cemetery at the funeral of a member of the Armed Forces of the United States, you hear the sound of taps. You see the American flag folded in 12 folds, ending in the shape of a tri-cornered hat, symbolic of the hats worn by the colonial soldiers in our war for independence. The flag is then presented on bent knee to the next of kin, the stars facing up with the following words. On behalf of the President of the United States and the people of a grateful nation, may I present this flag as a token of appreciation for the honorable and faithful service your loved one has rendered the nation. That is what Memorial Day is all about. I am honored to be here today at this tremendous facility and to see all you out here to commemorate, I guess, really the folks that have given their lives for our country. There have been more than 1.5 million American deaths since the Revolutionary War. In Australia, their Memorial Day is November 11th, which is our Veterans Day. And they call it their Remembrance Day. And I was passing through the Sydney airport on November 11th at 11 a.m. An announcement came over and said, we would like you all to pause for a minute of silence to honor and remember those who died in service to their country. And the interesting thing is they did. People stopped, they turned quiet. And after the minute, the announcer came on and said, thank you. And then he paused and he said, lest we forget. And that's what today is all about. Lest we forget, it is a soldier who has given us freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom to protest, the right to a fair trial, and the right to vote. Lest we forget, it is a soldier, when I say soldier, I mean all service members, who salutes the flag, serves under the flag, and his coffin is draped by the flag. That is why we have Memorial Days, is so we don't forget. You are here today not just to commemorate the national holiday, but to honor the brave souls who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. Memorial Day stands as a solemn reminder that freedom is not free. It has been paid for with the lives of men and women who believed in something greater than themselves. Whether a service member dies while serving this country in combat, training for it, through illness, or by suicide due to invisible wounds, the loss is the same. The family and friends don't grieve any more or less because of how they died. The cost and risk of wearing a uniform remains high, but it's something they willingly did because they believed in the purpose they were serving. We honor all service members lost in the line of duty and not just those who died directly in combat. In this way, we can truly honor every single sacrifice in the name of American security and freedom by leaving no one behind. The weight of service to the country is heavy, and it's burden that they carry, and it's a burden they carry for all of us. That is why we take time to remember them and sit in gratitude for what they gave up so we didn't have to. There's a saying I particularly like, and it goes, Thanksgiving is a day we pause to give thanks for the things we have. Memorial Day is a day when we pause to give thanks for the people who fought for the things that we have. It's not a day that we commemorate war. It's a day we celebrate valor and patriotism by decorating graves as a reminder of the cost of war and to commemorate the lives sacrificed by our military men and women. This country is blessed to have so many who take up the mantle of the armed forces. And our armed forces are liberators. We aren't conquerors. The only foreign land we've asked for is land for our cemeteries so that we can bury our servicemen and women who gave their lives in a fight of liberation. Those we remember and honor today came from across all of our country, every race and religion, from farms, cities, and towns, and from every walk of life. They embodied courage, determination, selflessness, and dedication to duty. All the qualities needed to serve a cause larger than oneself. At the moment of greatest danger, all of them chose to put themselves in harm's way in defense of their comrades, country, and each of us. Looking past the tears, bowed heads, and folded hands that mark Memorial Day, we can see something else, an idea. The idea of the United States of America. It is the most significant in human history. It's an idea spawned by a small group of people who took great risks 3 centuries ago to begin a new experimental life. For all our flaws, past and present, the United States remains the greatest, most prosperous, and most ambitious civic exercise ever undertaken. And I just want to take just a brief interlude for Memorial Day and just say, April 29th marked 50 years since the end of the Vietnam War. At that time, if you were living at that time, and many weren't, the country didn't really separate service members from the war, and returning service members were treated very poorly. So for those Vietnam veterans in attendance, I say thank you and welcome home. Today we are remembering our fallen, these men and women who sacrificed their lives for our country. They were not the only ones to pay the price. Every fallen hero leaves a family at home, and we provide recognition for those families and their sacrifice with the Gold Star flag. And we heard a little bit about that. These Gold Star families give us strength and help us to remember our responsibility to their loved ones. As we remember their sons and daughters today, those service members who made the ultimate sacrifice, we also honor the Gold Star families, for they bear the burden the rest of us cannot comprehend. We are grateful for the support you gave our soldiers so they could carry out the mission of protecting the people of the United States of America. We are also grateful that you are carrying on your soldiers' stories, because that is very important that they be heard. Families who display a Gold Star flag in their homes are never really free of America's war. The fallen remains silently around them, springing into their thoughts that they least expected, and many a number of Gold Star families here. Today, we also remember and honor those missing in action. Their final resting places are unknown. These Gold Star families have not had the closure and lack of graves to decorate, and we salute their sacrifice.
This is a time to remember, but it's also a time to reflect on the gratitude we feel for the men and women in uniform today, protecting our nation and our freedom. We are grateful for those brave Americans serving throughout the world. Though they might be far from home, remember them on this day and appreciate their courage and sacrifice. Be generous in expressing that appreciation. When you do that, please include their families, the Blue Star families, for they serve as well. Celebrate these strong families because it is for them and their future that these patriots serve. When their service member is gone on deployment, these family members need our support, and there's many organizations that are now providing that. Their service members are always performing the mission, or performing the mission they were trained for. For their families, this is a mission they didn't train for, so they have to adapt to a new normal. Families are important, and if you don't know, there is a memorial to the families or a tribute to the families at the state capitol. And it spans the World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, and Medal of Honor memorials. The memorial stands as a thank you to families who make all of this possible. The English author G.K. Chesterton wrote, "True soldiers fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him." If you haven't seen the family tribute, I encourage you to drive down and see it. There's a quote by President Abraham Lincoln that resonates deeply on this day. "Honor to the soldier and sailor everywhere who bravely bears their country's cause. Honor also to the citizen who cares for his brother or sister in the field and serves as best they can. The families, the community that comes forward to support all of us." These words remind us that to serve one's nation is not limited to those in uniform, and we're seeing that today. It extends to every citizen who upholds the values of liberty, justice, and equality for which our service members have fought and died. It is a reminder that the sacrifices made by our fallen heroes were not in vain, but rather a testament to the enduring strength of our nation and the ideals for which it stands. May we never forget the debt we owe to our fallen comrades, and may we always remember that freedom is not free. It is bought and paid for with blood, sweat, and tears of those who have gone before us. So let's honor their memory, not just in word, but in deeds. Deeds such as teaching our grandchildren, children, and grandchildren the Pledge of Allegiance, and teaching them to stand with reverence, hand over heart, during our nation's anthem, lest we forget. Memorial Day signals the beginning of summer. I hope you'll take time to relax with your friends and families for your cookouts. And while you enjoy your holiday and freedom, please take the time to reflect on what today is all about. May God bless you, each and every one of you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you for being here. Thank you, sir. And I think I've got it. Brigade. I owe you 20 push-ups. You'll get them in installments. All right. In 1915, while treating injured and dying soldiers in Belgium during World War I, field doctor John McCrae was particularly moved by the death of a close friend and the bright red plumes that were growing above the buried soldiers' graves. His poem, "In Flanders Fields," is a tribute to the sacrifice and tragedy of a soldier's death. It was the inspiration for the red remembrance poppies we wear today, and it's a clear message to future generations. And now, in Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky, the lark still bravely singing, flies scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, and sunset's glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands, we throw the torch. Be it yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. Please draw your attention to the west end of the park. We are now going to conduct our gold wreath ceremony.
Carrying in the gold wreath is the family of Staff Sergeant Robert Pruden. Bob Wilkes will now share the Rifle Valley history. Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. I'd like to read you a prayer that has been around for centuries, seems like. For every soldier, for every sailor, for every military person that's here today, this is for you. This soldier has now stood and faced God, which must always come to pass. He hoped his shoes were shining just as brightly as his brass. Step forward now, you soldier. How should I deal with you? Have you always turned the other cheek? To my church have you been true? The soldier squared his shoulders and said, no, Lord, I guess I haven't. Because those of us who fought this war can't always be a saint. I've had to work most Sundays, and at times my talk was tough. And sometimes I've been violent because the world is awfully rough. But I never took a penny that wasn't mine to keep, though I worked a lot of time and the bills just got too steep. And I never passed a cry for help, though at times I shook in fear. And sometimes, God forgive me, I've wept unmanly tears. I don't know if I deserve a place here among the people here. They never wanted me around except to calm their fears. If you've a place for me here, Lord, it needn't be so grand. I never expected or had too much, but if you don't, I understand. There was silence all around the throne where the saints had often trod, as the soldier waited quietly for the judgment of his God. Step forward now, you soldier. You've borne your burden well. Walk peacefully on heaven's streets. You've done your time in hell. Thank you, Bob. We now invite all those interested, children included, who have lost a family member or a friend to come up front, receive a white carnation, and place it at a monument in their memory. After placing your carnation, we ask that you please return to your seats. You can start coming up anytime.
What's in his son? They called him Jesus. He came to love. even for me, living out by my heart, and now to me, there to say, because he I can face because he fear is gone, because I know he holds
Yeah.
and life is worth the living just because he how sweet to hold you, oh baby, and feel grow. And joy he is the greatest thing. The promise show is trying to place uncertain days because he lives. I can face because he on feet because I know he holds the future. Life is worth living just because he and then I'll cross the river, I'll fly like a that it's way too I see the lights of glory. We don't be fashion shades because he is all he is gone because I know life is worth because he is all fears is gone because I know he holds my life is worth living just because he
Every year we honor a special veteran. This year, we are honoring Staff Sergeant Bobby Prudent. Staff Sergeant Prudent, 9 September 1949 to 20 November 1969, was a U.S. Army soldier. He joined the Army in Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1968. On 20 November 69, Prudent was serving as a staff sergeant in the 75th Ranger Infantry Regiment Airborne. On that day, in the Quai Gai province of the Republic of Vietnam, Prudent was killed in a firefight with enemy forces. his heroic actions during that battle, for his heroic actions, he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. Bobby Prudent's Medal of Honor citation reads, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in the action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, Staff Sergeant Prudent, Company G, distinguished himself while serving as a reconnaissance team leader during an ambush mission. The six-man team was inserted by helicopter into enemy-controlled territory to establish an ambush and to obtain information concerning enemy movements. As the team moved into the pre-planned area, Staff Sergeant Prudent deployed his men into two groups on opposite sides of a well-used trail. As the groups were establishing the defensive positions, one member of the team was trapped in open fire by enemy fire from an enemy squad. Realizing that the ambush position had been compromised, Staff Sergeant Prudent directed his team to open fire on the enemy. Immediately, the team came under fire from a second enemy element. Staff Sergeant Prudent, with full knowledge of the extreme danger involved, left his concealed position and, firing as he ran, advanced towards the enemy to draw the hostile fire. He was seriously wounded twice, but continued his attack until he fell for a third time in front of the enemy positions. Staff Sergeant Prudent's actions resulted in several enemy casualties and the withdrawal of the remaining enemy force. Although grievously wounded, he directed his men into defensive positions and called for evacuation helicopters, which safely withdrew the members of the team. Staff Sergeant Prudent's outstanding courage, selfless concern for the welfare of his men, and intrepidity in the action at the cost of his own life were in keeping with the highest tradition of the military service and reflected great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army. And now a childhood friend of Staff Sergeant Prudent. We are here today to recognize and honor Medal of Honor recipient, U.S. Army Airborne Ranger Staff Sergeant Robert J. Prudent, 75th Ranger Infantry Regiment, Americal Division, born on September 9th, 1949, a man that grew up fast and hard on the east side of St. Paul, and as a young boy personified the definition of character, integrity, and loyalty. Out of 13 children, Bobby was the second born to Larry Prudent Sr. and Marlos Prudent, who lived in a small house with 2 floors and 1 bathroom on Euclid Street, just east of downtown St. Paul. Larry Sr. was a truck driver for Corning, a brick and cement contractor working long hours to put food on the table, and Marlos was a full-time mother and homemaker. Bobby and Larry Prudent were the very typical East Side kids. Summer days were full of mischief and baseball games at the Babe Ruth Park up on 3rd Street. And when it got cold, Larry Sr. and his 2 brothers, and his 2 boys, would flood the backyard after the boards were up. And all the neighborhood friends would be on that ice after school till dark, and on Saturdays and Sundays from dawn till their parents would call them home. Hockey players were made on that ice, where Bobby honed his skills as a goaltender, playing with brothers, Larry and Mike. Bobby was in street terms the whole package. Being both very physically, mentally tough, he had that look. That was a dead giveaway that he would never quit and he would never back down. He wore his battle scars with pride and was already thinking about the payback if he felt it was due. Bobby excelled at baseball, football, and hockey. In 1966, as a junior, he became the goaltender for the Harding High School Knights hockey team. Excuse me. Bobby and brother Larry shared a paper route. 53 years later, just about a year or 2 ago, I found out that these 2 young men used to actually deliver the paper to our front door where I grew up. So it took 53 years to find that out. There was the challenge by Bobby incident, as I call it, at the Jumbo Wash Laundromat on Hudson Road on who could last the longest inside one of the spinning clothes dryers. And they both had a pocket full of quarters, so you know this went on for a while. There was the game of dare, and I think a lot of you, I heard some people talking about the game of dare between these two brothers that Bobby and Larry shared many times. All they had to do was find a knife. And this is the game, the challenge, where you throw it at his foot and see how close you can get. And then he takes that same knife and throws it at your foot. They looked for something that would work. They couldn't find a knife, and Bobby found a pitchfork. And said to Larry, "This'll work." And with that big smile on his face, the dare was to throw the instrument of pain, as I call it here, as close as you could to the other's foot without hitting one another. After both tried 3 times, Bobby came real close and Larry warned him, "You're gonna stick me if you're not careful." On Larry's turn, he touched the leather of Bobby's shoe. Bobby, he just was gonna make a point. He grabs that pitchfork and heaves it right through Larry's left foot. Larry starts to scream, and then it was expletive, expletive, expletive. Bobby ran into the house right past his mom, into the bathroom and locked the door behind him. And here comes Larry, one hand on the pitchfork handle and the business end still in his foot. Mom Marlis brought a quick end to this nonsense. She boiled some water in a bucket, pulled the pitchfork out of Larry's foot, and told Larry, "Get your foot in that bucket." Larry graduated from Harding High School in 1966. And it wasn't long after that that him and a friend of his from the east side of St. Paul walked into a U.S. Army recruiter's office and joined immediately. A year later, Larry found himself in South Vietnam as a member of the 4th Infantry that was stationed out of Pleiku, South Vietnam. Bobby graduated from Harding High School a year later in 1967 and attended St. Paul Vo-Tech when he registered for the sheet metal class the fall of that year. A couple of months went by and Bobby was bored. He needed a faster pace and he needed a lot more to occupy his mind, and he decided to move on. He traveled to Minneapolis and walked into the U.S. Army recruiter's office and enlisted. All of the instincts and the skills and the drive and determination that Bobby had acquired growing up on the east side of St. Paul would take this young man right through boot camp, AIT, jump school, NCO, and Ranger School, putting his boots on the ground in I Corps, Quang Ngai Province, in March of 1969. Looking back, the war in Vietnam in and of itself was the tripwire that so many of us here discovered and crossed and made sure that we were going to leave our imprint on the beaches, in the jungles, in the mountains, in the valleys. We knew that we would engage and cross this one day. Once again, the generation of young men and women who served in the war in Vietnam would be tested and challenged like never before. United States Marine Corps Dennis Angel has already read the Medal of Honor citation to you. I'm now going to take you back to that final moment that Bobby's second in command, Sergeant Danny Jacks, who I talked to in 2019 from his home in Arkansas, when he told me when he got to Bobby just before he died. Danny grabbed Bobby and held him. Bobby looked at Danny and asked Jacks, "How bad is it?" Danny reached down and pulled up Bobby's shirt and looked back at Bobby and said, "You took 9 rounds, center mass." Bobby looked up at Danny and asked, "Jacks, will you do me one favor?" Danny said, "Anything, Bobby." Bobby said, "Tell my mom that I love her." And Bobby took his last breath and he passed. On behalf of the Pruden family, they want to thank all of you for being here today to honor their brother, their uncle, and this young man from the east side of St. Paul that all of us there just knew as Bobby. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Staff Sergeant Robert Cruden Awards and Decorations. It is my solemn honor to stand before you to recognize and remember one of our nation's true heroes, Staff Sergeant Robert Cruden, a warrior, a leader, and a man whose courage and sacrifice embody the highest ideals of our military and our country. From early 1967 until November 20th, 1969, Staff Sergeant Robert Cruden served with distinction in Gulf Company's 75th Infantry Regiment, Ranger. During the Vietnam War, as a non-commissioned officer, he led with experience, with heart, and with an unwavering sense of duty. He operated in some of the most dangerous and demanding environments imaginable. Missions conducted deep in hostile territory demanded not only tactical skill, but incredible resilience, selflessness, and bravery under fire. As you just heard, for his extraordinary valor, Staff Sergeant Robert Cruden was awarded our nation's highest military decoration. His actions saved lives, inspired those around him, and solidified his place among the most courageous in our nation's history. But that is just part of the story. Before his actions that earned him the Medal of Honor, he also received Airborne Wings, the Bronze Star Medal for heroic achievement in a combat zone, 2 Purple Hearts for wounds sustained in battle, the Air Medal for meritorious service while in aerial flight, the Good Conduct Medal for exceptional behavior and performance, the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal with 1 Bronze Campaign Star, the Vietnam Campaign Medal with device, and the Combat Infantryman Badge, earned by those who engage in direct ground combat. Each of these honors represents moments of courage, sacrifice, and devotion. They tell a story of a man who led from the front, who bore the weight of leadership, the pain of combat, and the pride of serving something greater than himself. As a Ranger, he embodied the motto, Rangers lead the way. And lead he did, with honor, with excellence, and with the quiet strength that defines the very best of our armed forces. May we carry with us the storied legacy of heroes like Staff Sergeant Robert Cruden. Buttercup, on your feet. Forward, hop. Left, head. Half step, with your left. Column, march. Left, 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 right, left, 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 right, left, 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 right, left, left, left. Column, halt. Left, hey. Order, halt. Parade, rest. Bob will now share with us the history of the rifle lines. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Cross Hardy VFW Final Salute Honor Guard Rifle Squad. We are here today to provide what is known as the full final military honor for United States Army Airborne Ranger Staff Sergeant Robert J. Pruden. When you serve your country in uniform, be it in war or peacetime, you help contribute to the very freedoms that all of us here today are lucky enough to enjoy in the freest country in the world. Our government has said that as a reward for that honorable service to country, one day when you pass on, you will receive full final military honors. So it has been military honor guard rifle squads, such as our own, who have been providing those full final military honors for our fellow veterans. Most of the veterans that we provide full final military honors for, we don't know personally, but we do know that they have served honorably, as have we, which binds us all in a brotherhood. There's a lot of misinformation out there about the 21 gun salute. In the military, a gun is a cannon, it's an artillery piece. And if you make the mistake of calling your rifle a gun, well, the military is always more than happy to work with you until you get that concept into your head. The only person eligible to receive a 21 gun salute is the President of the United States. But today, I'll move to the side. Today, Bobby is going to receive 3 rifle volleys. This is a centuries-old tradition dating back to 1776 in our Revolutionary War, and is meant to recognize the veteran service to country. The helmet, rifle, and boots, the battlefield cross that you see to my right, is always symbolic of the serviceman or woman who once was and no longer is. The taps that you will hear today were first played in 1776 over the grave soldiers. And since that time, it has been played hundreds of thousands of times and is meant as a final farewell tune. Bobby is now reported to the Commander-in-Chief, to whom we all must report to one day. He has now received his final duty station assignment. By serving his country in its time of need, Bobby has helped preserve the very freedoms that all of us here today hold special and dear in our everyday life. In just a moment, I'm going to return to ranks and we will fire the rifle volley. It will be loud. I would ask that if you're sensitive to the noise, please feel free to cover your ears. After the rifle volley, taps will be played. I would ask that every veteran that is here today, law enforcement, firemen, EMTs, you have earned the privilege to hand salute during the playing of taps to honor and show your respect for Staff Sergeant Robert J. Pruden and his honorable service to the United States of America in the Vietnam War. If you are not a veteran, I would ask that you place your right hand above your heart during the playing of taps to honor and show your respect for Staff Sergeant Robert J. Pruden and his honorable service to the United States of America in the Vietnam War. At the conclusion of taps, members of our Honor Guard Rifle Squad will step forward to fold the U.S. burial flag in front of the family as directed by the Department of Defense, with today's U.S. burial flag presentation being made to Bobby's brother, Larry. On behalf of the entire Cross-Hearted VFW, final salute, Honor Guard Rifle Squad. Larry, to you, your family, friends, and associates that are here today, our sincere condolences on your great loss. Please rise for the lowering of the flag, taps, and the rifle honors. Right, hey. Right, hey. In honor of memory, United States Army, Airborne Ranger, Staff Sergeant Robert J. Pruden, who served his country honorably, boots on the ground in the Vietnam War, Quang Ngai Province, I Corps. Prepare to fire 3 volleys of musketry. Firing straight ahead. Forward. Unlock rifle. Hey. 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 Forward. Lock rifle. Present. Huh. Forward. Huh. Red face. You may be seated. I got reset. Halt. Order. Halt. Turn the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, a U.S. burial flag is folded into a triangle to remind us of our Revolutionary War soldiers who wore a three-cornered cap and made the ultimate sacrifice in winning the very freedom that remain with us today. On behalf of the President of the United States, the Secretary of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your brother Bob's dedicated, committed, and faithful service to the United States of America, boots on the ground in the Vietnam War. Please take the flag. My God! Reset! Hold! Order! Hold! Major Burr will now provide our benediction. Please rise if you are able and bow your heads in prayer. Let us pray. Eternal God, as we prepare to leave this sacred ground, we do so with hearts full of gratitude and reverence. Today we have remembered, we have honored, and we have stood in awe of those who laid down their lives for our freedom. May your presence be with us now and always, and may this park continue to stand as a lasting tribute to the service and sacrifice of heroes like Staff Sergeant Robert Pruden, honoring the enduring values they fought to protect, a place that unites us in gratitude and anchors us in hope. We have placed carnations in quiet tribute. We have heard the solemn crack of rifles in final honor. We have watched the flag folded with care, its stars and stripes representing the unity, sacrifice, and enduring promise of this country. Lord, we ask your blessing upon the families of the fallen. May they feel the depth of our gratitude, the strength of our support, and the warmth of your eternal presence. As we go from this place, may we be united, not only by shared grief, but by shared purpose. Let us live lives worthy of the freedoms we've inherited. May we carry forward the legacy of those who gave their all, not only in remembrance, but in action. And now may the God bless us with courage to defend liberty, wisdom to pursue peace, and compassion to uphold one another. May our unity be strong, our freedoms enduring, and our hearts ever grateful. Amen. You may be seated. Thank you, sir. Beth Dorsey will now lead us in singing God Bless America. Let's please be sure our veterans living in a senior facility across that park can hear us, all right? I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, wide call. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her
through the night with the light from God, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide and flow. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Thank you, Beth, and thank all of you. Quoting President Ronald Reagan, I can't claim to know the words of all the national anthems in the world, but I don't know of any other that ends with a question as ours does. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Well, that answer is always yes, because of the men and women in our military. This concludes our 5th annual Memorial Day program. Permit me to now introduce the person responsible for this beautiful Veterans Memorial Park. He is not a veteran, however, his uncle was. Before his uncle's passing, his uncle shared some of his experiences. That sharing sparked within him an unbelievable patriotic flame, and he decided he would do everything in his power to honor all veterans. With feedback from veterans groups and military contacts in Washington, D.C., he ensured that the proper images and wording chosen for each of these monuments. Long after we're all gone from this earth, generations will come here to remember and to honor and remember their loved ones. Please welcome Blaine resident, Blaine High School hockey coach, and creator of this amazing Veterans Memorial Park, Mr. Steve Geiger.
We're going to pause for just a second with they're coming back over in missing man formation. So here they come. I'd first like to thank everyone for coming out today, this beautiful day, to help pay tribute to all the heroic men and women that have made the ultimate sacrifice for this country. I just saw a graphic the other day that I thought was pretty impactful. It said the most expensive holiday is not Christmas or Mother's Day. It is Memorial Day. Every cookout, trip to the lake, or drink with family and friends was paid for by the blood of a soldier whose mom didn't get to say goodbye, whose dad wept in private, whose kids are left with only pictures. It's not a day off, it's a day to honor the ones who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. I would just like to make a few special thank yous, and then we're going to go over and unveil our newest monument. I don't want this to seem like a commercial, but some of these businesses and individuals need to be recognized for what they've done. First standing over here is Rick and Denise Swanson. When you look at all the new flowers planted in this park, Denise did every one of them. There's 340 plants that make up that flag alone. She is without question the top volunteer I have at this park. I don't know what we do without her. She is absolutely incredible. Her husband, Rick, has also been up here a lot. You'll see him pulling weeds, digging, and doing a lot of other things to help beautify this park, make it look so good for today. I'd like to thank Sergeant John Rice members that came out, and they went through every planting bed we had here and removed all the old wood chips. I was a little worried. There's 70-year-olds pushing wheelbarrows, hauling them. I'm like, yeah, there's a heart attack about to happen. Fortunately, some of the younger veterans, and they're not that young, but they said, hey, let us do that. You do the raking. So luckily, we survived without any issues there. I'd like to thank Archway Contracting and its owner, Roy Peterson. They donated a half a day. They could have been off making money doing work, but they brought their entire company here, and we had 16 yards of mulch over on the side here, and they stayed here until every piece of it was laid. An incredible. It's an incredible bit of generosity by them, and we're so thankful to them. That's the second year in a row that they have done that. The flowers that are around the rock and in front over here, those were donated by Waldorf Farms. So we thank them for their donation. The local Walmart in Blaine, when you look on the left side of the park, you'll see some planters of poppies. They donated those. And this park would not look even remotely like it does without the generosity of the men over there in the green shirts. Ron Tamlin, owner of Tamlin's Farm and Greenhouse. Last year, they donated $3,500 in plants to this park. The year prior was about $2,000. Every plant that's in here, in that area, and then the ones over here, Tamlin's donated. I go, Ron, can we get some plants for this? He says, come and get whatever you want. I think they have 13 members of their family serve in the military, strong military supporter. And again, I don't want this to seem like a commercial for Tamlin's Farm and Greenhouse, but I will tell you, if you're looking for plants, please go there first. They are different. We talk to everybody. There's a lot of places that don't donate anything. And to find someone that generous is absolutely incredible. I'd like to thank Jeremy and Nathan Dorsing. When you look around at all the audio equipment, there's wires strung everywhere. They were out here about 4 hours before the program started setting that stuff up. They don't have to do that. They did it for free. And it's the second year that they've done it. Our audio is fantastic. And it's a tribute to all the work that those two back there had put in. I'd like to thank the men and women from the Spring Lake Park Blaine Mounds View Fire Department. Every year we've had a fire truck out flying a huge flag over our ceremony. It makes an absolutely incredible addition to our program, and we thank them for doing that. But then also thank you all for your service and what you do running in the flames to rescue people. So thank you. I'd like to thank 3 Blaine High School people. Beth Dorsey, who we heard sing, is a math teacher at Blaine High School. Riley Hess, who sang our national anthem, is a junior. And John Liu on the trumpet is an English teacher at Blaine. We needed someone to play a bugle or trumpet. We didn't have anybody. And I asked John, he goes, I'd love to do it. If you had been on this end during the Armed Services medley, after every song you see, I mean, that's a lip workout. So, I mean, good for him for playing that. I've never played a trumpet. I tried it once. No sound came out of it. I don't know how he does it. But thank you. And then I'd also like to thank the Cross-Hartig VFW and the Sergeant John Rice VFW for all their support, providing the rifle squad, providing the color guard, and everything that they do to help make this program great. So thank you all. In a second here, for those of you that want to stay, we're going to move over to the west side of the park for our unveiling of our fallen soldier monument. It's not finished. And I am sick to my stomach that our statue did not show up. It was ordered 14 months ago. I was promised, even up to yesterday, that that monument would be here, and it's not. I'll talk about it over there. It's absolutely unbelievable. What we're going to show you is phenomenal. So you're going to see an incredible part of this monument. You're just not, unfortunately, going to see the whole thing. I post a lot of stuff on Facebook. When we get that monument put in, there will be a Facebook post. We're not going to have a second ceremony. It's too hard to get everybody together. So our main ceremony for it and dedication is going to be today. But I have been on the phone constantly, and that thing is going to get here in a hurry. Otherwise, we'll deal with that. So again, thank you all. Greatly appreciate it. Channel 5 News is here, so be sure to watch them. They're covering for us today. And just appreciate everybody being here. It takes two special people to come to an event like this to honor fallen soldiers. And you're here for them. There's 72,000 people here in Blaine. Not all 72,000 are here. So you guys are special in the fact that you come here. Guys, it's Memorial Day, 2:00 every year. So please tell your friends and get more and more people here. So thank you all for coming. We're gonna go get set up on this side quickly. And we'll get going on our dedication. Thank you.
God. Yeah, how are you? Good. I saw it, like, watched everything, but I couldn't. I couldn't play. You need one of them. I don't think you've ever had one. Not involved, man.
There it is, folks. Things are about ready to shut down. We're not going to watch the thing on the memorial. Andrea and I will come back here in a little bit here. We'll do a tour of the memorial park. Absolutely exciting. Wow. There's no words. It's Memorial Day. Remember, we'll check you out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching it. We'll get the footage over to Steve so he can share with his people. And it's been an amazing day, an amazing tribute to those who have given us our freedoms, our liberties. It's not, as we say, Happy Memorial Day. It is Memorial Day. I hope you get to enjoy it with your friends and your family.
Table. Everything.